Hello everyone, my name is Slipperyjack, and today I am going to be talking about the fourth album by Rush, 2112. Okay, so since this is it's December and it's the last month of the year, I decided, you know what, every year I should spend December reviewing what are considered to be classic albums. And yeah, it's pretty weird reviewing 2112 as the first album of a classic month, or yeah, something like that, or yeah, it's kind of weird. But I was trying to think of something I don't want to review something that's really obvious, like Led Zeppelin 4. Yeah, Led Zeppelin 4, that everyone already knew. And from what I've discovered, there are not a lot of young people who know about Rush. And, I find that very disappointing because Rush is a very talented rock band. They deserve every bit as much credit as Led Zeppelin did. They basically took that sound and made it way more complex. So, anyway, in case you don't know who they are, Rush is a Canadian rock band who are considered to be one of the most influential progressive rock bands. Is Rush really progressive rock, though? Well, to be honest, I don't know what you call them. The odd time signatures are there. It's highly complex. The lyrics are very poetic, sometimes philosophical. But if you just hear a Rush song in the background, you're not going to really hear all these things just in one listen. You've got to really focus on it in order to get that kind of sensation. But yeah, I'm going to say that they are definitely progressive rock. Their songs do progress. They have poetic lyrics, and in the late 70s, they were using keyboards. And, yeah. But anyways, before 2112 came out, Rush was in a difficult position. The first two albums had gained them a popularity of hard rock fans. However, their third album, The Caress of Steel, was not received well. The album showed Rush venturing into progressive rock for the first time. The songs were longer, and the lyrics were very hard to grasp. And the album ended up being a commercial failure. It received bad reviews by critics, and less people were attending their shows. And their international label, Mercury, even considered dropping Rush. However, their manager, Ray Daniels, went to Mercury's head offices and convinced them to give Rush one more chance, and that they had some really cool ideas for a new album. So Mercury just decided to give them a one-album deal. And, that means they would have to do something more commercial if they were going to not be dropped by Mercury. And did they do something commercial? Well, yes and no. But either way, 2112 definitely succeeded. It quickly outsold the other two albums, and it is now considered to be a progressive rock classic. Yes, they are still doing progressive rock on this album, but it is crossed with the earlier hard rock and heavy metal sound of their first two albums. So this meant that, so there's a 20-minute title track which takes up the first side of the vinyl, while the second side is more of the more hard rock stuff that they're known for. So that means that if fans ended up hating 2112, they would have the whole second side of the album to rock out to. And I'm sure many of you might be wondering, like, Slipperyjack, why aren't you reviewing the more popular moving pictures? Well, that's because, like, I personally prefer 2112 to that album, even though Moving Pictures is really great and you should definitely check that out. And also, I would have a lot more fun talking about 2112 than I would Tom Sawyer. 2112 is considered by many to be a concept album. It really isn't, though. While the title track is a science fiction story, the rest of the album has nothing to do with that concept. However, there are references here and there that link back to the story. Okay, so strap yourselves in. I'm about to talk about one of the most complex tracks I know of. So it is the year 2112, and there is a galactic federation that has a vast empire of planets that is dictated by the priests of Syrinx. The song begins with an overture, before that there are some cool spacey blooping sounds. And then those signature Rush kind of guitars come in. The second part, the Temples of Syrinx, is the priests telling their people, hey, life is good. We have everything you need right here in the temple, which is all like this technology and stuff. And the entire segment is really quite fun, even though hearing the rest of the song, you have a whole different opinion on this segment. The next segment is called Discovery. After the fun hard rock segment that was the Temples of Syrinx, the songs gets very soft and atmospheric. You can hear a creak and some strokes of a guitar. And at this part, the protagonist has just found a guitar in a cave, which is ancient at this point, and he's playing around with it, and he learns to play, and he decides that he's going to show the guitar to the world, hoping that they would understand its beauty. And then the music gets more up-tempo and sunny with the acoustic guitar. In presentation, the song does what I like to call the Nirvana formula, which is like when the music gets loud and then it's soft and then loud and soft, etc. Loud part is when the priests are talking, or singing in this case, and the soft part is when the protagonist is talking. And when the protagonist shows the priest the guitar, they know exactly what it is, and he tells them, hey, look, the world could use this beauty. This is such an amazing discovery. People can make their own music. And I just love how he says, listen to my music, which is exactly what I was doing in preparation to to review this album. The priests respond that the world is just fine. There's no need for ancient ways, so just forget it. And then the song goes into perhaps one of the coolest guitar solos ever, which lasts for nearly an entire minute. And I believe that at this part, the priests are destroying the guitar. Like, either way, I know that, like, they do end up destroying it after the protagonist presented it to them. But I kind of had a different interpretation. I thought at first, like, he was just trying to show off, like, look at me, I'm so good at this. But then, I think it's more like they're destroying it. Oracle, the Dream, is just starts out very atmospheric, as some cool psychedelic effects, before going into the heavier part, being a dream about an oracle taking the protagonist to a planet where the elder race thrives and is trying to gain power to overthrow the priests. Then when he wakes up, the song sounds quiet and atmospheric, but soon goes into a more emotional yet heavier part. After the dream, the protagonist sinks into despair, realizing like how empty his life is, and then like that the elder race is light years away, and that he has no hope of them coming back, so he just takes his own life. However, the ending isn't completely tragic. After his suicide, there is a 2.5-minute guitar solo, which is like the Elder Race coming back to reclaim the planet, destroying the temples, and then it ends with an ominous voice saying, "Attention all planets of the Solar Federation, we have assumed control." Yes, I will admit, the ending was quite irritating, but dang, that was a great story. 2112 is a brilliant track. If you like progressive rock, this needs to be on your ears now. Maybe different, there are no keyboards, but it really doesn't need any. It's great, perfectly how it is. Because the first half was quite serious, they decided to make the second half less serious and a little more fun. Passage to Bangkok is about places to find marijuana. I know, not the best lyrics by Rush, but this song rocks hard. I get kind of a Middle Eastern vibe from it, and there's like this cool dual guitar in it that makes it sound more like heavy metal. It's just so catchy. Twilight Zone is literally about the Twilight Zone, which Rush is a big fan of. It is one of the more mellow moments on the album. It sounds a lot like Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, but like crossed with the middle section of Riverside's Second Life Syndrome. And get ready to rock out with Lessons. It's basically Zeppelin's Ramble On, but on steroids. They just crank those guitars up high, and yeah, it's very heavy but really awesome. Tears is a very different song. It is very soft, very somber, and it really does not fit on here. I tend to skip over it a lot, but out of context, it's a great song. It reminds me a lot of mid-70s Genesis. However, especially like on this side of the album, it really does not fit. It's just too mellow. But it's certainly not a bad track. It's a great song. I wouldn't hesitate to remove it if I was given the opportunity. But on a cooler note, it's actually the first Rush song to use a mellotron. Then there is Something for Nothing, which is very driving and is my personal favorite from the second side. It really nails its hook, and you just can't help but rock out to it. It's just such an incredible song, and overall, there's a lot to like about 2112. I love every track. There's never a moment that feels uninteresting. It is one of Rush's finest albums, and it should be something you check out at some point. I'm overall feeling an 86 out of 100. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe for more entertainment, and get ready for some more classic albums this December. I'm going to try to keep it from being too obvious, like I said in the beginning, but at the same time I want it to be well known by a lot of people. So yeah, that's all for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.